Friday, and thanks for tuning in to RadioFreeRhinecliff.org and this show in particular. Correct me if I'm Norm. I'm your host, Norm, and I'm thrilled to be here tonight with Mr. Dairo Chamorro. Dairo, how's it going? Thanks for coming in.
Oh, thank you for having me, Norm.
It's such a treat. And as is the tradition here, and correct me if I'm Norm, the guest brought in an adult beverage for us to enjoy at the end of our week here. What is this we're drinking?
Well, so we're drinking out of a sippy cup.
A sippy cup, yeah.
Now, we are having a little Ichiko.
Ichiko.
It's a Japanese vodka, almost like. It's in between sake and vodka.
Uh-huh.
It is absolutely wonderful in any shape or form, actually.
It's so yummy.
We're having it as a Cosmo. That was a suggestion that was given to me today.
Oh, it's a Cosmo.
Yeah. So it's a little Japanese, a lot of umami.
In Ichiko Cosmo.
Ichiko Cosmo.
It's delicious.
It is absolutely great. You can also do hot water and half Ichiko.
Uh-huh.
It's really nice in the winter.
It's nice all year. And when did you recall when you first tasted Ichiko?
Yes, it was actually during my brother's wedding. Somehow my wife had found it in some Japanese restaurant in the city. And it was like, it's just easy. You can still function. It's just like rails, like nice. It's a great drink, I must say.
And so wait, the wedding happened in a Japanese restaurant in the city.
No,
and that's where
it wasn't. It was just simply, my wife loves Japanese. And
okay.
It was an easy transition. Yes, honey.
Uh-huh. Yes, of course. And is it big brother, little brother?
It was my big brother, yeah.
Uh-huh. And do you have other siblings?
Yes, I do. I have another brother who lives in Ireland as well. So, which again, he gives a lot of feel to my life.
Yeah.
Just because having somebody that elsewhere, it just makes it like this amazing lens of all the things you can do.
Right. And where in Ireland?
He's right outside Dublin.
Uh-huh. Sweet. And you get there often?
Oh, my God. I know every single person at immigration when I come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like once in a while I get a young kid who's just starting. I'm like, it's like, you don't know Dairo?
That's pretty nice. And you seem like sort of that kind of guy who just knows everybody.
Well, I try to be decent to everybody. What about that? That's
a pretty good way to get known.
That's it.
Especially in those situations where far too many travelers are tired and hot and pissed off, not in the mood to be friendly. So,
sometimes the road bites, I say, but I am the guy who actually brings chocolates to the flight attendants when I come in every trip.
That's great.
I always stop by, and I travel in all the modes. I'm always just lucky to be in the air. It's like fire and flying is out there with cool things we have learned in life, right? And just being, even if I'm the back of the bus, it's really nice when I'm the first class, flight attendant will come in and hey, thanks for the chocolate. Here's real silverware and a glass of champagne. Done.
That's great. That's a great travel tip.
Again, there's a lot of crazies everywhere. I mean, we're all crazy a little bit, but when you're flying, as you said, people are tired, jet lag, and sometimes you just forget.
Right.
I just want to get home or get to where I need to be.
So you got a brother in Ireland, and the brother who got married, where is he residing?
He's in Rosenberg.
Oh.
Yeah.
How?
There's a small child influence.
Uh-huh. So how did you all end up here?
Oh my God. Dude, we only have an hour? What is this?
We can spend the whole time talking about that. That's kind of the idea of this show, is how'd you get here?
Well, it's really one of those epic years. A lot of bad things happen. And on one of those bad things happening, I ended up meeting a doctor down in the city who had a house in upstate New York, on which we used to do the whole, leaf peeping, coming up to Rhinebeck, and oh my God, look at the leaves. And just life happened, and I ended up buying the house of the doctor that was treating my mother.
Oh, wow.
And he lived in Red Hook, and I'm like, this is one of those weird things that happen. Everything happened for a reason, and that day was pretty magical by all means.
Uh-huh.
We came in, we bought a house, We put an offer with my wife. Of course, we saw the house during the fall, and everything looked amazing,
Sure.
right? And we were very much city people, and I remember just being like, "Oh, it's raining in the city." It's like, "Oh, we're gonna get 2 feet of snow on upstate."
Right. So how long ago was this?
Oh my God, it's gonna be now 18 years, 19 years this year.
And so did you do a clean break, or do you still have a place in the city that you go to once in a while?
We did the whole weekender thing.
Right.
I mean, I think a lot of your listeners probably do that. We all have roots in the city, and you kind of try to, because the immediacy of the city is always there.
Right.
But we did that for about 2-3 years. We had an apartment. It was really nice, but more and more we were like, hey, Thursday, you want to go up? Yeah. And all of a
it's
sudden,
like, hey,
and we
Wednesday,
did an
and-
Amtrak, right? So
Right.
it was one of those things. Would be like, we'll park. We're like, oh, look at the stars. And we're like, I sleep better here, and just simply it really starts growing on you.
And did you move your careers up here?
What was that?
Your careers, did they move easily from the city to here?
At first, I was working full time in the city. I used to work for a company called Reuters, the news agency, and I guess I never mind working or waking up early or going to sleep late. So it was just simply, I'm here. I have more space for the things that I want to do in my private life, and I still just commuted in the city. So the train is just fantastic. At least during that time, I was commuting with my wife. And you just start meeting people on the platform, and they're like, "Hey, how you doing? Hi, I'm Dairo." And
Yeah, but most people don't do that. Most people just sort of stand there and
it's a long way to the city.
right.
It's called support. It's like,
Yeah.
"Hi, my name is Dairo. I've been doing this for 5 years, and 6 years, and 8 years."
Right.
And it becomes like this almost social hour. Imagine this that we're doing right now,
Right.
but we're on a train with the sunset and a glass of wine or sake, and conductors are awesome people, and then you have your peers, and becomes like this turn the volume down, whatever corporate job in New York City, to get here, you're like, oh my God, that was great. What a great commute.
And do you still take Amtrak often?
Not often. My wife still commutes every day, but I maybe go in maybe once a week.
Right.
Most of my life now, it's over, either I'm home or I'm away for weeks at a time.
Right. And do you still know, somebody said you were the mayor of Amtrak, you and your wife, and that you knew all of the conductors and their birthdays and their kids' names.
I mean, Amtrak has been a blessing. It's been the catalyst on a lot of things. I will think that from most of my friends upstate, most of the people that I know, it all started in some shape or form on the train. Even my business partner, I met on the train, right? So Amtrak it was really, really nice. Also very refreshing, right? One, you have conductors, most amazing people ever, like really just hardworking, family oriented. It's all the values that the Americana of life, right? And then it was refreshing after, being in the city. Usually it's like, oh, hi, you meet people and be like, what do you do?
Right.
And that's the number one question. Everyone in the city is trying, like, this constant competition of who does what. So being in the train was more like, these guys are coming in, coming back. All they want to do is be able to, the train to be on time and to be home for their kids and for their families.
Right.
So we just simply, when you spend, some of these people we see like family every day, right? And all of a sudden be like, oh, my son is going to first grade. Oh my God,
Right.
And little things start happening, and you connect with people. And then we've been on the train and with the conductors. We've been to birthday parties, weddings. If there's an event that is social for Amtrak, we've done it because these people are just fantastic. They're really amazing people.
Love that. And so when people ask you, what do you do? What's your answer?
Not a lot.
Is that your answer?
Yeah.
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
And how do people respond to that?
I had somebody actually chase me a whole party asking me, like, but you need to tell me, and I usually, no, I don't do a lot, like, I'll do a lot of things,
Right.
but I think, at least in the U.S., most of the questions had to do related to what you do for work.
Right.
And it's just so much fun to just ask, like, oh, so what's keeping you busy this time of the year? And it just simply, we all have our stuff going on, right?
Right.
So
most people do.
yeah, I mean, hopefully, I wish I can not do something or nothing one day.
Right.
But I probably won't. I'll be like, oh, I should start a wine business.
You don't seem like somebody who would just like sit in your butt and do nothing.
No, not at all.
Now you say wine business, but it wasn't wine. You started a scotch business, a whiskey business.
Well, it's been an easy transition, I guess. So we started. So my business partner, as I mentioned,
The one you met in the train.
we met on the train, John Harrington.
Love that.
It is one of those things. He has a life upstate New York, wife, kids, everything, but he goes to the city to work. And it would be one of those things. Would be the party train. That's the 5:45 train on Fridays, which I'm on, but I'm not on right now. He was one of those like, hey, you're gonna be on the train. It's like, yeah. And we just started talking and talking and talking. We have another dear friend from upstate New York as well who started investing in whiskey in Scotland. So it's got to be 4 or 5 years that we started investing in whiskey. So we knew the right people. It's a very sketchy business if you don't know the people, by the way. So we met the right people. I met them in London a few times and kind of like, well, why not? It's kind of fun. Whiskey is something that, I had, but it was not a passion in any way.
Uh-huh.
And little by little, we were like, whoa, how hard could it actually be? And it is very hard, by the way. But it's been an amazing journey. One of the best things I've ever done.
Now, what makes it sketchy? What makes it hard to be in that business?
Well, it's sketchy because it's almost like a Bitcoin.
Oh, God.
No, it is one of those things in which you need to be certain of the source of the things that you're supposed to be buying. And, the fact that you're purchasing something that is half around the world, on the other side of the world, and
Right.
allegedly in a warehouse. That's
Allegedly.
Allegedly in a warehouse, Very rarely, most people you cannot visit your cask. It's like, oh, this is my cask. It's very hard to do.
You cannot visit your
No,
casks.
You can buy it, you get a certificate, and there are people, I met people who had literally cash out their retirement to buy whiskey because they can make money every year, and all of a sudden it's, by all means, a scam.
Right. Well, so why is that not a deal breaker that you cannot visit your casks?
How many people will visit their cask? It's kind of cool to say it, but I don't know.
No. So you've invested. You own some casks.
Yeah.
With two partners.
Yeah, one partner.
Okay. But you've never seen these casks.
I've seen mine just because.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. In the last 2 years, I've been to Scotland about 6 times, 7 times, I would say.
Uh-huh.
So we'll go and I don't know if it could be a post-pandemic item, but I love meeting people in real time, like just life. It's bumping into you in town. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It is different. I see your post, I hear the show, but when you meet with somebody, it's just so much better. And I think it takes 10 emails to have a conversation for an hour.
Right.
So for me, it's important to, and it's part of why I travel.
Right. To meet people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You seem phenomenally good at it.
I talk too much. So
Is that the secret?
No. I just, I'd love to share.
All right. Well, share with us. What would you say to, I've got young kids.
Yeah.
What would you say to kids in their 20s on how to meet people cold?
It is very difficult right now.
But not for you,
I
evidently.
know, but I'm not 20. Right. But when you're 20 now, it's a very difficult time.
I see.
If you're a 20-year-old.
Right.
Right. The last 5 years, at least 3 of them you spend indoors with no friends in Zooms, and you didn't go to school.
Right.
So you become 20, or you're supposed to be this adult graduating college. It is interesting when you really think about it.
Yeah.
I think going away helps. To me, I think like I have my nephew who just graduated from Rhinebeck High School, and for us, it's always trying to just be decent. I think
Right.
that's a rule in life.
Right.
And also, the world is so big. Like I've been able to do a lot of cool things, but he's 18.
Right.
With all the energy of the world and so much in front of him, and just like your kids, like you have a whole life in front of
Right.
you.
Right.
And I think that sometimes especially when we're 20, you're kind of like very busy in the moment.
Uh-huh.
And I just think there's this, the whole let's go away, let's drive across the country, let's fly to Ireland and meet new people. It's a thing that opens you up big time.
It does what?
Opens you up to the world.
Opens you up, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, so no like bon mot, little nuggets of wisdom for how young people could go out in the world and be as open and meet as many people as you seem to.
I think you can do like in an elementary school. Is there like Star Trek or Star Wars?
Right.
Somebody will say yes to one of those.
Oh, that's funny. Star Trek. And for you, Star Trek or Star Wars?
Both, actually. I'm pretty much both.
Uh-huh.
Star Trek has better music.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
And so did you where did you grow up?
So I grew up, oh my God. So I've been incredibly lucky. My mother used to work in the government in Colombia.
Uh-huh.
And, we have the opportunity to travel, which was something that I've done from the beginning. I grew up in Colombia. I was born in Bogota. And then after my mother retired and she had the opportunity to come to the United States, we were able to come with her, and it really just, my whole world changed.
Wow.
As being part of somebody who's in the military, you get used to changing schools, meeting new people all the time.
You'd been in the military in
I
Colombia?
went to military academy, if that counts.
Yeah, sure.
If you're actually somebody who's actually serving, I'm sorry. But it was pretty interesting. I did go to the academy, so as my brother Teddy, and it was great. I had a blast. I learned that I don't follow rules very well, but it was great. It was such a bonding moment.
Right.
Because everybody's equal, so to say, and you have the hierarchy of life, and you're really prepared for the worst. And when I was in Colombia, it was very difficult times for Colombia. It was during the whole cartels and the bombs and all these other things.
Right.
So it was a little scary, but we were like children going to academy in high school, right?
Right.
Well, it was so, but.
And the cartels and the bombs and stuff.
Yeah, and all the stuff,
Is that why your mom wanted to move?
Yeah, it was actually the very first time I saw a FedEx envelope. It was for my mother. She was already here. She's like, there was a bomb very close by to where we lived, and thankfully, like, she provided us with a very good living in Colombia. And sometimes you are exempt what happens in faraway places, and that day it really hit home. Like, all the glass windows in our building broke, and it was pretty real that day. And I remember 2 days later, we received the first time I saw a FedEx envelope with the tickets. Of like, you know what? That's it.
So there was a bomb near where you were living.
Yeah, in Bogota.
It shattered all the windows in your building. And your mom's like, to hell with that, getting the kids out of there.
It was pretty real, for sure.
Uh-huh. And why she was here, I'm guessing, temporarily?
No, she had moved to New York.
Okay.
There's something that she always, at the time that she was in the military, she transitioned into it. Because, when it used to be diplomacy.
Right. And the kids had chosen to stay in Bogota.
What was that?
The kids, you and your siblings, had chosen to stay in Bogota and not come to the States.
Well, it's one of those things. I mean, I was younger than my brothers, but everybody had their lives, right?
Gotcha.
Two of my brothers, they were both teenagers, and they wanted to just do teenage things, like my mom, my girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
Me,
I was like, I just wanted to play I wanted to play volleyball, and that's it. That was my sport.
Uh-huh.
And I was doing very, very well with it. That was the only reason I wanted to stay.
You were doing very, very well with beach volleyball.
Yeah, with volleyball to start with.
Uh-huh.
When I was in school, and that was something that opened up so many doors for me. Oh my God, it was epic, actually.
An example?
My very first day in America. Yeah, I went to register at the high school that I was going to go to, Long Beach High School in Long Island, and I'm walking by the gym and I see a volleyball roll out of the gym, and it was like, seriously, like, oh. And I'm like, oh my God, I have this. And I remember walking in and seeing this, the girls volleyball team. I'm like, hi, Dairo Colombia volleyball.
And how was your English that good?
Well, one of the things when you're learning a language is that you understand very well. Do you understand that? Do you comprehend 80%, 90% of what somebody else is saying?
Right.
It is piecing your thoughts together to say it back to them is the hardest part.
Right.
So I was able to understand most things, and till this day, like I'm still friends with the very first person I met that day, and her name is Stephanie Perry. She's a police officer in Long Beach. Thank you for your service. And I saw her last summer. Like I keep up with everyone. Like it's just
Right.
Angel in my life. I have a lot of angels.
And so you go into the gym holding this volleyball, which I mean seems sort of heaven sent.
Yeah.
You know,
It was wine and all.
And and you met Stephanie like within minutes?
Well, there's this ritual. If you ever play volleyball, you kind of warm up by passing each other the ball, and you bump, you set, you hit, kind of thing. And she's like, "Oh, do you want to warm up?" I was like, "Yes." And all single word answers, not like right now, just keep talking away. But it was one of those things in which we started just warming up, and she's like, "Oh, you're pretty good." I'm like, "Yes." Sorry, it's the only thing I brag about, by the way. I was very good on volleyball. That was
Right.
that was my spirit animal, I would say.
So there was a girls' team in that high
Yeah.
school. Was there a boys' team?
Yeah, it didn't meet up. The concept of seasons is not something you care about much when you live in the tropics.
Uh-huh.
So men's volleyball was not until for my school, not until the spring. So this was the fall when this happened.
Right.
So I had to wait a full year, but I just remember being in the school, meeting Stephanie. Then I met this girl, Darcy, which same, all incredibly nice people. And then I hit a ball, and then I just remember just people coming up to me saying, "Oh my God, what's your name?" Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Dairo, Colombia, volleyball. That's it. And then I went to a party. This is high school, and this is all brand new to me. Like, everything is brand new to me. I ended up going to a party 2 weeks later, and it's just like, you need to meet Dairo. And I just remember just being in a room with a bunch of strangers and not knowing anybody in school. This is 3 weeks before school started, and I was able to meet all these people before my first day of school.
Right. Sounds spectacular. And which grade were you entering into
I
there?
was going into 10th grade.
Okay. And so that all sounds so good. Were there difficulties?
Oh yeah! Oh my God, so many. And there were some that were actually pretty interesting. Again, the whole thing with language is that, like I'm incredibly thankful. I actually, the day that we closed, a big deal for my business, I actually called my ESL teacher to say, "Hey, thank you."
Wow.
I looked her up and I say, "Thank you." Like I'm very thankful. And there were many moments, education overseas is different than in the U.S. I will say, in many subjects is better. Like when it comes to math and all these other things, you go a lot deeper earlier when you study overseas.
Right.
And just coming to the U.S., math is math. I did incredibly well in school. I was a very good student at the time, not so much in college. But it was one of those things in which sometimes like there was I was doing well enough that I couldn't be in ESL, right? Because it's supposed to be basic. And I remember I took Regents English. I was, and I guess if you're a teacher or, work in the library, everybody knows about the summer readings, which no student does ever. And I did. I read, the first book that I read in English was Othello. Believe that.
Egads.
So, and thankfully to the educational system, my test was multiple choice, and I knew who Iago was.
So you were all set.
Well, what my teacher said that if I didn't pass the test, I had to go back to USL. So, of course, and she did it in a very open, public way to the whole class. So when the test came back, everybody wanted to know how much I got on my test, because she had made it the point to say, "Hey, by the way, if you don't pass this, you have to go back."
And did she do that in a friendly way, or was it?
Now looking back as an adult, not as nice as she could have done it.
But it sounds
think.
like the fellow students were behind you.
Yeah, again, I'm in contact with at least half of those people, I would say.
Right.
So yes, they were on my side because it was kind of very daring. And because I did read the book, nobody else really did because it was the first week coming back from the summer break, and I actually got one of the best grades on the class because I read the book. So of course the irony of all of that, it was like Dairo Colombia. Thank you.
Dairo come along. Volleyball.
Volleyball.
That sounds pretty lovely. So you said when you closed your business, you called your ESL teacher to say thank
Yeah.
you. Which business was that?
I was able to. I mean, it's a full circle. I do a lot of work overseas in Spain, and the exchange in Madrid, La Bolsa de Madrid, is my client. And the day I went, I met them, and it was the first big project that I got from them. Now I'm full circle by all means. Like I worked so hard my whole life to speak properly, learn English, and now I'm working in Spain.
Right. And do you? So you learned your language, Spanish, in Colombia. Did you try to learn Spanish? Spanish? Did you try to learn sort of this way people in Spain
not at all.
speak Spanish?
Embrace your accent.
Yeah.
Say seriously. I think that no.
And in Spain, did people like place your accent? Like, oh,
Well, they know
Colombia.
that I have my Colombian ways,
Right.
in the hips, but no, I have. Of course, I still have my accent. It's probably my teenage accent from Colombia.
Right.
When I speak Spanish. Now, I mean, I've been in the U.S. so long that I have also, there are words that I just simply pronounce more like an American.
Right.
So sometimes people will have difficulties trying to place me like, okay, so hold on, where exactly are you from? Like, I get some of the words are very Colombian,
Right.
but there are words that I will either say in the wrong structure or whatever it might be. Yeah.
Right.
So people will wonder where I'm from all the time. Doesn't matter where I am.
Right. Whether you're speaking Spanish or English.
Or English. And I love it. I love having an accent.
Right. Because it invites engagement.
Yeah, hola a todos, ¿cómo están? See?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, who are you? Where are you from?
And tonight, 9 o'clock, Dairo.
Volleyball under the moon. So you said the exchange, your client was the exchange in Spain.
Yeah.
What exchange? What is that?
It is like a stock exchange.
Oh.
It's a big deal client. It's pretty awesome.
And they hired you to do what?
I do a lot. I help them a lot with their marketing and their graphic design. Anything that is related to digital, I create for them.
Okay.
It helps that I'm bilingual, of course.
Right.
And also have a finance background.
So that's an enormous client. How did you land that?
Again, I mean, I've been I'm probably going to say this a lot more times than you want to hear this, so you can just edit and cut it.
No, we don't.
No,
I
know
do
you
that.
don't.
Yeah.
I know you don't. I'm kidding. But no, I'm always been very thankful. I have such a great friends everywhere. Like I have my friends in London. I have my friends in Spain. I mean, I have friends everywhere. And there are people who just simply I keep up with.
Right.
I am the guy who always calls when he's in town.
Right.
Always. Doesn't matter if we all have our lives. We might be busy, but I call and say, "Hey, Norm, I'm in Rhinecliff."
Right.
You'd be like, "Dairo, I'm with my kids in college graduation. No problem at all. Have a great time."
Right.
But if not, hey, I'll meet you in Market Street. I'm gonna be there between 6 and 8, and then people show up, and there'll be times that just a handful of people will show up.
Right.
All the times it'll be like 20 people. You're like, "Oh my God, this is great," and it's all people from my professional past.
And professional, what did you do at Reuters?
At Reuters, I started as a graphic designer.
Okay.
And then I was able to, thank you, I was able to transition to be creative director for media for Reuters.
Okay.
So at the time, basically was all of the ads in Reuters.com. We also did all of the ads when you're standing in Times Square. You have the NASDAQ screen and you have Thomson Reuters one.
Right.
Right. I used to design for those screens, it was, again, always thankful, like just standing outside, looking at work that you've done,
Right.
and your computer, you're like, damn.
That's so sweet. So that must have been a good credential to get your foot in the door at the exchange.
I think it's an addition of everything.
Right.
at some point of my professional career, I ran beach volleyball tournaments in Long Beach. So we had the Long Beach American Classic. I ran that for 5 years, and it was the largest pro amateur beach volleyball tournament in the East Coast.
Wow.
And that was same thing. I mean, a lot of work. There's nothing. I cannot think of anything worse than digging a lot of holes on the beach at 5 o'clock in the morning. Wow, that's a lot of work.
And a lot of holes to plant the poles.
To plant the poles for the players to for each of the nets. We had roughly 42 nets, almost a mile long, on the beach.
Yes.
We had about 1,200 people playing on that weekend.
Wow.
It was a big deal.
Huh. And was this part of a bigger beach volleyball circuit?
No, I started my company because I won a tournament and they didn't give me my prize, which was a trip to Florida, and I got very angry. They gave me a sweatshirt because I won, and they didn't give me the full price. I'm like, you know what, this is terrible. So I created my own company.
And did you put the shirking company out of business?
No, I didn't.
The one that
But
didn't give you
I
the
was doing
prize?
my own thing, and it was great. I've been to every beach in the East Coast. I've been to most beaches on the West Coast. It's a great living. Like my friend Braden says, trust me on the sunblock.
Yeah.
So a lot of sunblock, a lot of sand everywhere, a lot of changing business cards, credit cards. Every summer you have to just get brand new ones.
Right.
Sand gets everywhere.
And so you did that for like 5 years. the
5
beach volleyball.
years. But so back to your answer to your question, being able to manage an event that size and the marketing, all the designs for all the t-shirts, all the ads that we had on the beach, all the nets, all the promotions, helped me land one of my first job in London, on which literally the question to me was like, okay, have you done an event before? I'm like, yes. And I was able to show that as part of my portfolio as a graphic designer and a marketer of something that I was doing as part of what I love, which was volleyball, of course.
And the London job was Reuters.
One of my other jobs. I've been incredibly lucky, as I said. At Reuters, I was there for, oh my God, 4 or 5 years.
So what was the London job you just referred to?
When Reuters became Thomson Reuters, I followed the CEO of Reuters into the data space, financial data space.
Okay.
And I had an interview for this company, and by all means, I showed them everything that I'd done on the volleyball tournaments. Of course, Reuters. We've done a lot of big campaigns for well-known companies. But I think you really become an addition of everything you've done in your life. There's no one single moment that makes us who we are.
Right. Huh.
Yeah.
Very interesting. You said earlier everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
100%.
Interesting. Can you?
But it's not it's not in the future. Not as a comfort. Just simply, when you really think about it, everything is half chances. You know what I mean? It could go either way. It doesn't matter. It just simply is preparation meets, opportunity, and all of a sudden you're successful. And
Right.
the more opportunities you create for yourself, I think it works.
Right. Huh. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't necessarily believe that.
That's good.
How would you convince me?
I don't have to.
I'm asking. Come on.
No, I don't have to.
Convince me.
Right. Think about it. So here we are. What I told you exactly 1 minute before the show started.
Right.
Thank you, Norm. That's it. We don't know what we're going to be doing on 35 minutes later. Right?
No. Yeah.
But it's been such an amazing opportunity. Or it could have been the worst interview on the planet. See what I mean?
It's every other week, so you luck of the draw.
I pick a good week, and
Well, you got
also
lucky,
it's
yeah.
humidity is low. It's a beautiful day in New York.
Yeah, also, this cocktail was delicious.
Oh,
I
well,
think-
here, we
I
can
think
do a little
that's-
SMR. Here,
I think
hold
that's
on.
got to help.
Well, now we're making a little martini with the Ichigo. Hold on.
Are you? With the Ichiko. That is just,
Now we're
that's a
gonna pour it
fabulous
slowly.
Friday afternoon sound.
Tune in tonight.
Yeah. As he's pouring. Oh, perfect. Yeah, get that right up next to the microphone.
There you go. Here, no, I'm gonna have to shake one for you now.
Okay, good. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Let me ask. I wanted to ask, when you go to visit your casks in Scotland, where are they?
So our casts are outside the Speyside. So
Okay.
we work with a very reputable company that has. I mean, again, we are brand new. It's a very difficult business to get into, and most things are a lot easier when you're able to have the right people helping you.
Right.
Right, and this applies for everything. I will say, right? You painting your house, you find the right person. It's just simply it's much better. If you're doing something as big as trying to start your own scotch company, it works exactly the same way.
And did you know the right person for Scotch, or you sort of sniffed around?
Well, again, it's one of those things I respect. I'm not one to. How would you put this? I don't need to live through something to say that I did it. So if you give me advice, it's something that and this applies to all of my friends. If somebody says, "Hey, Dairo, don't do that because X, Y said," I don't need to do it. Like there's not a portion of me like, "Oh, let me try it for myself," because I respect. I mean, I admire all of my friends. I really do. They're
Right.
really great people, including all of you. Right. But it's one of those things on which, like, if you were telling me about something, I'm gonna create my own show, your opinion matters, right? Because be like, here, you're gonna run into this, da 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 da. And if you have somebody who's actually guiding you on a journey, the journey becomes a lot easier. It's like visiting a friend overseas, and you don't need to even Google anything, what the best restaurant is or what's the best thing to do in Madrid.
Right.
You just, hey, we're gonna go to this place, and then we're gonna try da 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 da. And it was like, awesome.
So who is or was your expert in the Scotch business?
So
Or were
it's
there
a co-
multiple
it's,
people?
It's a company called Cast Trade, and they are based out of London. They have a phenomenal team. One of the people who worked with them when we first started, I mean, it's been a long journey for us to get to this point. She was just absolutely incredibly knowledgeable on the whiskey space. So they're the people who had worked for every distillery, or they work on a bar in Scotland or Ireland, and be able to say, hey, that's okay, this is good, or this is the type of cask that you can finish your whiskeys, or you learn how much alcohol there is in any given cask. I mean, it is a busy, it's a very difficult business to get into. So I got a couple certificates. So I study on the University of Edinburgh. I'm doing another certification right now, and just trying to learn as much as I can.
Certification in what?
As a whiskey specialist.
Okay.
So I already have one.
Like a whiskey sommelier
Something like that. In the sense of just trying to basically from everything related to the production of it, to the different kinds, all the regions, the taste, the notes. And, on top of that, I mean, at this point, I've probably driven about, 3,000 miles in Scotland.
Right.
I've been to a lot of distilleries. And then just to be able to say here, I don't know, we spent like 5 days with my brother in Ireland. We flew to Islay. And it was one of the best trips ever, to be
Right.
able to go to all the whiskey distilleries that have very peated whiskeys.
Right.
It just simply, you cannot learn that by just reading it, so,
Right.
Like boots on the ground, so to say.
But your whiskey is not Islay. It's
Ours is from the Highlands.
Highlands.
Yeah, so right outside Speyside. It's from a distillery called Milton Duff. It's a 200-year-old distillery. I mean, it's incredible.
Right.
So for us, one of the challenges that we have, particularly for Lockburn, has to do with the market in the U.S. is completely different than it is overseas.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, most people will say in the U.S. Really enjoy drinking bourbon, and it's just simply different. The taste, the consistency of it is just a different liquid. It's called whiskey as well, but it's different. So for us, we after a lot of research, and I'm putting quotes in the air, a lot of research. Cheers to that.
Cheers to the research. Agreeable research, I'm sure.
We found this particular whiskey from Milton Duff. So it's a 15-year-old whiskey. So it's been fully aged in sherry casks
Okay.
from Spain.
Uh-huh.
So when you look at it, it really looks almost like an amber color, almost red. It is absolutely beautiful. It has great, like when you first put it in your mouth, it fills up with like, a lot of notes of like dried fruit and like cherries. It's
Uh-huh.
absolutely delicious. And then the finished
my
one,
mouth
which I
is-
have to do this by
my
the way,
mouth
is
is
more
watering.
like
Yeah.
old books, a lot of old leather books,
Yeah. Oh, is that it? Is that
and
one of the
toasted
tastes?
coconut.
And toasted coke. And do you taste those things when you taste the scotch? The
At
Lockburn?
first I didn't, but more and more, my palate has changed a lot. There are a lot of things that I used to try before that just simply, we had become more advanced. I will say a lot more knowledgeable of the different, like distilleries, which all
Right.
of them are very, very different. We also know more about the type of casks that this whiskeys are, aged on, and all the little differences that make or break a whiskey.
Right.
And I will say that one of the things that we have learned is that we are curators. We're not just simply buy that, bottle it, sell it. We are in the business of finding something that's special that will make a good fit for somebody else. So
Right.
most of our business is focused into high-end places. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you the one that hopefully next week will be on.
Knock on wood
Knock
for
on
you.
wood.
But what kind of a high-end place?
So we're thinking more of a high-end restaurant steakhouses.
Okay.
Think about like Rosewood hotels, Six Sands
Sure.
hotels, things in which, our whiskey is not particularly cheap. So it is a place on which people who like the finer things will find something that is unique to them.
And would they get a Lockburn branded whiskey, or do you do
No,
personal?
we are an independent bottler, so we are able to curate or purchase basically anything that is available out there. I mean, there are things that are very, very expensive that
But
we
right
have
now
access
you're
to.
getting it all from one distillery.
We can, yes. So we're able to get whiskey from anywhere in Scotland, and also from Ireland at these days, and be able to basically bottle it age it, bottle it in Scotland. And our company Lockburn, we are also an importer and a wholesaler.
Okay.
So we are able to do the process from beginning to end, from Scotland all the way to the United States. As part of, say, my background as a graphic designer and a marketer, we are able to function like a graphic design agency on which we can actually walk into somebody and say, love what you've done with the place. And there's people who are incredibly talented at doing interiors, the branding for something that is incredibly exclusive, and being able to come and say, here, we did a full brand research on what you've done. We know your colors, your logos, your the way you speak about yourself.
Right.
And here's a mock-up of what your own bottle will look like. And is, there's the brand portion of the business. And also because we're a small bottler, we're able to purchase the smaller quantities. We're able to move smaller quantities and be able to put it behind the shelf cheaper than it was like a gigantic, Macallan of the world.
Right. Or let's say hypothetically you sell it to like a chain of like fabulous boutique hotels, chains called Jim's.
Yeah.
Would it be Jim's Scotch?
Not
Is that what
always.
people use?
There's a lot of IP issues. Thankfully we have a really good lawyer. That's a tip for anybody who's 20 years old. But no, not necessarily, right? I think that especially when you are in a higher end establishment, they tend to segment their brands and create little moments for people to enjoy them. Whether, imagine the name of the spa on a really nice hotel is not called the Four Seasons, It will be something like, Air.
Right.
Right. So the idea will be more to try to create to complement something. It could be named after either one of the founders of the establishment. It could be something that is very particular to the area where this place is. So
And your company will do all of that.
all the branding portion of it, which is really, I think, our our advantage, I think.
And so this one whiskey will go out into the world and potentially have, dozens of different brand names attached
Not
to it.
necessarily. It all depends of the size of the order. For our current client, we have a cask that is only for them.
Okay.
So we started with a small order for them to start the program and see how it feels. But the cask is theirs. The number related to that particular bottling is only for them.
Right.
So it is very exclusive in that sense.
Do they get to visit the cask?
No, we're going to ship it back here.
How
Empty.
Nice.
You
How
can-
many bottles do you get out of a cask?
It depends on the size of the cask. So there's many sizes of casks. Most casks, like the ones you see in like a Western, right? They're probably about 277 bottles, like the just standard, bourbon barrel from Kentucky.
Right.
But then there's all the casks that are just bigger, and you simply hold a lot more liquid. So we have some that will yield roughly, and this is all approximate, of course. You have 347. There's one of the bigger barrels you can do up to 680. Right. So, and then once you move into a more commercial portion of life, you can actually buy one of those, I think it's called a CIV tank, like the ones you see in farms.
Uh-huh.
The big white squares in farms. You've seen them, like they're massive. They usually use it for like cattle for water in remote places that there's no water. You can buy that full of whiskey.
Oh, right.
Yay!
Wow. And then you put it in the casks?
And then
it's
once
already-
it's in the cask, it's either in a container. So the full process really, you have the cask is filtered, or sometimes it's filtered to take anything that is big, because there's like little black parts of char from the inside of the cask.
Right.
And then it's put into another tank on which they can actually measure. And then you decide whether or not, how much alcohol you want your final whiskey to have.
Uh-huh.
In the case of our first bottling, and because we're children, we're bottling at 5150, like the Van Halen album. Yeah, take it good night.
Wait, 51% alcohol?
51.5% alcohol.
Okay.
For our first bottling.
So it's a strong whiskey.
It's a strong whiskey, but it works really well if you decide, we always say that you can enjoy your whiskey the way you like it.
Right.
There's this whole conceived notion that you need to have it neat to make it real. And no, the reality of it, if you decide to mix it with Coke or this, soda or something else, it's up to you.
How do you like to drink it?
I like the very first time anytime I drink any whiskey, I will always order two different ones as opposed to just one. So if I'm with somebody else, we split one. You order one, I'll order a different one, and then it's easier to compare notes. It's easier to actually see the differences.
Right.
But if you only have one whiskey and then you walk away and then we come back a week later, you do not remember what that whiskey tastes like.
Uh-huh. So when you order whiskey, say you go to a bar and you get the Lockbourne, if it's available anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you order it neat? Do you put a little water in it, or?
I usually do neat. In the case of what we decided to bottle, we did it at 5150 because of Van Halen. 2, because it makes it really easy to keep the base flavors, even if you put it into a cocktail, right? So, which is something you could do. You can do a Negroni with whiskey. Technically, you can do anything with whiskey.
Sure.
So if you mix it, you still have a little bit of what the original spirit tastes like. And again, you can if you're gonna do rocks, you do a big rock, like one of those big squares or the big
Right.
circles. That ice is just simply it doesn't melt as quickly, so it actually opens it up, and it actually makes it very enjoyable actually.
Yeah.
So
Sweet. And so how long have you been in this whiskey business?
it's gonna be, my God, a little over 2 years.
Okay.
So I will say that the first year was permits from hell in New York State.
I'm bad.
See, it was form after form after form, sending a lot of paperwork back and forth. It took us almost 9 months or so to be able to get all our licenses. And without licenses, most people within the industry will not talk to you because there's a lot of liability, built it into the business.
Right. And what about tariffs? Has that
Oh my God,
reared its
tariffs.
ugly head?
Ooh. Now it got interesting. Huh, let me shake it again.
Yeah.
Now,
Make mine a double.
kidding. No, but no, tariffs are is interesting. Again, without getting political, it really changes the way that the people do business, right? So because of it, we have met a lot of people being in the importing business now. We meet a lot of people who move little things from China or Europe. Like we're talking to do some wine, for example. And right now, if you decide that you're going to do 30% tariffs in wine from anywhere in the EU, that simply kills your profit. There's no way you're going to make money out of it. So it's just cheaper to keep it home and wait.
Right.
Right. So for us, for Scotch whiskey, the current administration loves the king. so we're okay in the UK for now.
Right.
So we only have a 10% tariff, which is really not that terrible for us. But now, let's say for the last few weeks, we've been doing a lot of logistics, right? So we putting stuff into containers and bringing stuff by airplane and da-da-da-da-da. And we have noticed that there is tag little 1-2% for everybody across the way. So let's say with the UK, we have 10% tariffs on our whatever we bring to the United States. But we see that is maybe the freight operator is going to charge us, an additional 1-2% easily. And it just simply, you start inching in, or when you start adding the person who, let's say we got our bottles come from France, like everything we're doing is like top of the line. Our barrels were shipped from France to Scotland to, fill with whiskey, and they're being brought here. Somebody around the point charged another 1% here and there. So we've seen, I would say, an effective 14-16% tariff, even though it's supposed to be 10.
Right.
And then you have fuel surcharges that are also happening because of it. And also we've seen additional funding requirements for your shipments, in the sense of like before you needed to cover your shipment, but now because there's so much volatility in the air of something costing, let's say $5, but it could be 10 next week.
Right.
The freight operators may be saying, well, you should have $10 in the account just in case, right? So it means that you have to lay more cash out just in case of. You get the money back, but it's something that is, we've seen a requirement for that.
Right. Egans. But you still think this is a good business?
For the whiskey, yeah. Oh my God, I wish I'd done this years ago, to tell you the truth.
Oh, that's sweet.
It is, I don't know, it has put a different spin of the things I already do. I do travel a lot for my, graphic design marketing company. I'm been traveling a lot for the whiskey.
Right.
And I had the opportunity to now, I was early this year, I went to Japan, and I met awesome people, and sitting down in the tiny small, bar in Tokyo, talking about whiskey with this Japanese fellow.
They make some amazing whiskeys.
Oh my God, we're looking into that.
Oh, good. One last whiskey question.
Yeah.
Then we're going to move on. Before, you said you've been in this 2 years. Prior to being in the whiskey business yourself, were you a single malt fan? And what was your best taste?
Well, since age 18, when I went to a party. No. No, not really. It's one of those things. I would say wine is kind of like everybody's good friend. It's easy. I would say I used to drink more wine than anything else. It's just easy. You don't need to. You just want something just to ease off the day a little bit, but not to get destroyed, so to say.
Right.
And if there's something that I had learned with single malt and being now in the business, which we are the ones producing it, and being the ones who set the tone of how to responsibly enjoy it, it has really been a full spin. It's actually been pretty nice.
Right. And in terms of the distilling, do you have any creative input into that?
Not in the whiskey. Whiskey is, as I said, very difficult because it's something that's been in a warehouse for a very long time.
Right.
We do have, as part of our whiskey stock, we have some young spirits that are, basically baby whiskey, right? And it is completely clear in color. It has to age for 3 years before you can call it whiskey.
Right.
And but then time is against you. You have to wait 7 years to be a 10-year-old
Right.
whiskey.
But
So-
if you wanted to put it in, two casks, in like a sherry and then a bourbon cask,
Yeah.
like that's
So most of them are already been on bourbon casks, and then you switch it over to cherry. You can put it into tequila barrels. You
Right.
can do it, and oh my God, there's so many options on the whiskey side. But you could totally do that. But as I said, I think that with a whiskey, time is not on your side.
right. All right, good. Listen, we got like 3 minutes left. It's flown by. I've got two friends here. I've never done this. What should we ask him? Come on, give me a question for Dairo.
We have visitors here in the studio.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming.
Who are these people? Who are these people? Dairo
And Judge Mayer.
Yeah.
They're both amazing friends. George, I met on the train.
Uh-huh.
Shocker. Ed McNally, I met by being just in the presence of greatness every day that I'm in Rhinebeck.
Love that. So sweet. So do you guys have a question to ask Dairo here?
Ooh, questions.
What did I miss?
Well,
Show me something.
let's ask the lawyer first.
What's the weirdest thing about you that has not yet been asked in this broadcast?
What's the weirdest thing about Dairo that has not yet been asked in this broadcast? This is from the lawyer. I guessed wrong as to who the lawyer was, by the way.
Wow. Tough question.
Yeah.
Because there's so many.
Yeah.
How do they keep the secrets in this place? Wow. That's a good question, Ed.
A Colombian in Pinecliff with a brother in Ireland.
Yeah.
Secrets. No, see, you know what? I'm pretty open about everything.
All right. While you're thinking about that, Watford? How you're a Watford
Oh
fan?
my
How the
God,
hell did that
yeah.
happen? That's a strange.
Welcome to Radio Watford.
Yeah.
That's in a TV show, by the way. My old boss in London was a huge fan of Watford,
This
which
is
is
a soccer
a
club.
soccer club
Football club.
and they're in the lowest of the lowest, but it was so great because it was just the spirit of the sport. I love it.
Uh-huh. And where do they play? Where's their home stadium?
Watford.
Watford. Where the hell is Watford?
It's a little north of London.
Okay.
So it's a tiny little town, but they have, they're the greatest team in Earth, really.
The greatest team on earth. And you are you a super fan? Do you watch all their games?
I watch most of them, and then we have 58 seconds. Here, something that you don't know. I'm a shareholder in a small soccer team in Scotland.
Oh, I love that. And do you support the Kingston Stockade? Do you go to see their
No,
games?
I never been there.
Oh, come on. You got to support the home team.
Hey, I
Maybe
need to spend more time here.
Maybe someday they'll play Watford.
Hey, we're not that good. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Well, guess what, Dairo? We're freaking out of time, and I have 8 pages of notes I didn't even get to.
Well, so for part 2, tune in. Just
Part
kidding.
2. Yeah, that'd be great. Dairo, thank you so much for coming.
No, thank you
People,
for having
thanks for tuning in. Thanks to the friends for showing up. Everybody have a great Friday and a fabulous weekend. Oh, and thanks to Patricia Wind and the Epicurean for giving us the space, and to Jen Hammoud,
Yeah, Jen, I
producer
love you.
extraordinaire, for
Now it's
making
in
it all
public.
happen.
It's part of the record. It's
Yeah.
part of the record.
Good night. Have
Good
a great
night.
weekend.
Bye.
Yeah.